Hello, welcome to Footprints. I'm Samuel E.T Mensah. We had our earlier episode with Honorable E.T Mensah, which if you missed that, you can go on YouTube and check our interview with Honorable E.T Mensah. And this will be a continuation of our conversation with him. Look, we can do 10 episodes with Honorable E.T Mensah because, you know, the man is an embodiment of serious resource for development. Whichever. If you check his book, let me show you it if you can give me the book. If you check one of the books that he's written, this one he calls NDC Setting the Record Straight Volume 1. This book that you see. I was telling him that it was a book that looked more like a development economics book more than anything political or historical, because it gives context and background to a lot of the development issues that we are facing today. So just make sure you get one and then see. You don't have to be a member of a supporter of NDC or a supporter of MPP. Once you're a Ghanaian or you're interested in things to do with Ghana, I think you should get this book. Right. The only thing is that it has NDC colors. You understand? But what were you expecting? Honorable, good to see you again.
Yeah, thank you.
So now we heard that, okay, we have agreed, we did the consultative assembly, and then some of the instrumental guys like Justice D.F. Annan, and then fast forward, 92 elections came, and then the next we heard E.T Mensah, sports minister, no more Greater Accra. How did you end up in sports instead of maybe becoming Greater Accra regional minister?
Well, thank you. I have been a sportsman for some time, and I'm sure the authorities, when they decide to make appointments, they do a lot of consultation and check the backgrounds. And I'm sure because of that, they were able to stop at, my desk and then decided that I should go to sports. I used to, when I was a student, a young man from primary school all the way through to the tertiary level, I used to play football. And when we were in Akojo Middle School, we used to be poached by the various organizations here.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they used to play interdepartmental. Yeah. I went to Nigeria for the first time because I was poached as one of the players to go and play for Liverpool Brothers in Nigeria. So I love sports and played for Tema Hurricanes. We were founding players of Tema Hurricanes.
Tema Hurricanes. It was a youth club.
It was first division, one of the first division clubs here at Tema. Then we played against Hazlefoot. At that time, the old man with the white hair, Nyamite, and others were here. And then that day I played well. But I was a striker. I still love striking. And then the only goal that was scored, I scored the way I played and my height, he decided that I needed to join Hazlefoot.
So they poached you to Hazlefoot?
Poached me to Hazlefoot, and who were the ones who started the Auroras.
Auroras, yes, that's Team B.
Team B of all the Federation distance. Yeah.
So you played for Auroras?
Yeah. And then when I started playing, I was promoted to start playing for Hazlefoot. I stopped because it was disturbing my studies, and that was when I cut off.
Oh, okay. So with that kind of background, you were suitable for something sports. Good.
So I wasn't surprised when they announced it. I didn't know where they had all the information from. But
all right, that's good. But prior to that, you know, before the setting up of NDC, your name was kind of associated with Eagles Club, if I'm not mistaken, which later will become the Eagles Party or something. Was that the case?
Oh, what happened was that we had the, as I said, New Democratic Movement. And then when it was decided that the parties were going to be formed, all of us in the Chikates and others, all of us who were in that Eagle Club joined the NDC because we formed Eagle. We thought, okay, now that we're going to have 4 parties, let's convert New Democratic Movement into
the Eagle.
You know.
Tell me, what was the role of Mabe Oforiatta, Danny Oforiatta?
Oh, Danny. Yeah, Danny happened to one of our friends who even followed the New Democratic Movement. So that movement, translated to
the
Eagle. And at the time, I was still the chairman of the Accra City Council. So,
yeah.
So we used to meet in our hall.
So you pushed the Eagle agenda. At this time, there was no NDC.
No NDC then. That was the Eagle agenda. And that's where we took it from.
So you had the likes of Michael Susudis.
Yeah.
And who else?
We had Michael Susudis, even Chatun and others. Almost all the names that I mentioned earlier on were all, until we got to.
So at which point did the idea of the National Democratic Congress also come up?
Yeah, it was when we were getting ready to register for the general election. We thought that there was a need to float out. And we had this Eagle Club and other things. So let's merge all the clubs. There were other clubs into a new democratic movement. And so that was how it happened. Because Eagle Club then, the logo was to be the eagle. And we had a long session and we thought that it wasn't fair because the eagle is
the national
emblem. So let's drop it. And that was why and when it was dropped. And then
later on the name.
The name, New Democratic Movement.
I mean, the eagle was also changed to Egle.
And we, felt that let's leave those who were still stuck to that with eagle and call Egle, but it didn't fly.
No, so yeah, I'm interested. So the formation of then the National Democratic Congress in the Greater Accra. I mean, who were some of the leaders in galvanizing people?
Oh, sure. Was quite a tall list.
Because I remember Neo Kaija and Adamafiu, and then is it Quinometal?
Quinometal, yes.
Yeah, he was also involved, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember him. I think he was there.
And at the time we were pushing the eagle, and then we, had a long meeting. We had Justice Annan was there. This old man from almost all the big shots.
They were all part of it.
They were all part of it.
Pushing. And okay, so that's but at which point did you decide that, okay, let me move into the National Democratic Congress proper and leave this Eagle Party thing? Because
we moved in straight away. I was,
from the beginning
at the table when we decided Well, we were all seeing all these groups which are pro, you know. That's right.
Yeah.
So had a meeting and then decided that the way to go is the
Okay. So you took over the sports ministry from, was it General Nokwenu?
Oh, Anokwenu was PNDC member responsible for sports at the time.
Yeah, but who was the secretary for sports before you took over? At the time when you were deputy secretary.
Deputy secretary. When I was
before Sarah Mensah.
Yeah, long before.
Way after Sarah.
When I took over sports was when General Kwenu was PNDC member responsible for sports.
Yeah.
At the time, and then deputy, and then he, bowed down.
Okay. So when we got into the democratic dispensation, then you became the substantive minister.
Yeah.
Okay. So what kind of sports ministry did you inherit?
Yeah, it was
because 82. We had a Cup of Nations.
Yeah.
So your first task was to see us through the Cup of Nations. And where was it held?
That was when we co-hosted with Nigeria.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's when we co-hosted with Nigeria.
Yeah. So generally, what kind of sports ministry, sports situation in this country?
Sports situation in the country wasn't the best. That was when we were still running Ghana Amateur Football. Well, the association was Ghana Amateur Football Association. It means that we were not that organized. And having gone around and seen some of these things, and anytime I get such positions, I consult, I read about the situation, how others started. And so I thought out there was a need for that. Because the players, you have Ghana Amateur Football Association, players were not being paid monthly salaries. They were just there because it is an amateur. Nobody was paying anything. Players were not, the way the players were treated, sometimes they were sleeping in classrooms.
Sorry, we're talking about 92, 93, or 93 when you took over.
Okay,
when you're now the minister.
When I took over, we were still running amateur football without, when almost all clubs globally were running professional league. So my first, objective was to break that jinx and make sure that we restructured the sports administrative structure. It ought to be restructured. In those days, Clensu, all the big, Clensu and all those people,
squadron leaders,
and all the guys who were very adamant to change were there. So my first meeting with all the clubs and their leaders was at the British Council Hall. And I told them I was going to roll out my manifesto for running football in Ghana. And some of the things that I took advantage of, anytime when you are a mayor, I was made a mayor of the appointed, or he was elected as a member of the World Conference of Mayors. So every year we have one conference here and there, and especially when I was in Accra when we were having the relationship with the Staffordshire County Council, 14 districts. Anytime there was a meeting there, at the end of hardware, they want to know from you where you want to relax. I want to go and watch your football. I want to visit your FA to learn how they organize, where they started from. Because they didn't start from where they are today, from somewhere that needed to. And they really wanted to know the club I support, they say it's Man U. So Man U matches. I visited all those places and found out, got the blueprint for handling players, the blueprint for the structure. So it was in my library, and so when I met all these people, I took them through. I knew our system in this country from when we were playing for hours up to today. I also was aware that some of the players, I spoke to all the players, they also talked to me. Every Saturday morning, wherever I find myself in Ghana, I went to play with the Sunday people.
Sunday Stars.
Sunday Stars. And I was the one who introduced Kiffy clubs.
Mm-hmm.
And it was endorsed by the PNC, so I went around everywhere and launched them. And anytime, whatever I did, I had a card. You go to Prampram, the Prampram playing field, they have 4 Kiffy clubs. I have the cards, go and play. So they're able to open up. The national teams have never been happy about where they were being camped. You see it and go and sleep on, forms and stuff before you go and play football for your nation. And I also found out that if you want to win something, you start from somewhere. And I remember I was very lucky, again, on the back of City Council. We went to Germany, and they were the ones that we were collaborating with when it comes to, at that time, waste management. So, they are club managers, they're all football. I went around, learned from them, and then there was one day that the FA decided to have a workshop to focus on their abysmal performance during World Cup and stuff. So they needed to do something. So I went with them, and it was interesting. And they had planned, that was, I think, 1979. And then what they wanted to do, that by 2006, they should win the World Cup. They haven't won a World Cup for a long time. They needed to plan. And
with the Ghana FA?
No. The
Which
German
FA?
FA,
German
they were
FA, okay.
having, they had challenges for some time.
Okay, yeah.
And so because I knew one of their senior guys, I also went and listen. So then we went to another meeting in Netherlands, and then they had started that they needed to build a national teams, training camp, and they had to plan for the World Cup. They also doing so badly, and so I took some of the notes. So we came down. I told my people that the first thing that we had to do was to break away from the amateur and then start professional league in this country. And also, we have to, because some of the problems that we had, they will still have. The club owners, the kind of group that you put together as your FA, should be people who are selfless, not club owners who always want to see their boys play for purposes of transfer.
That's where the money is, man.
Yeah, which I knew was happening. And I thought that this thing had to be stopped somewhere. So I also talked to them, found out their strategies, and then I came down. And then we decided that, look, I met with our people, we consulted. And I know that in this country, up to that time, I don't know what is happening in other places. When you start something, there are people who want to make sure that you don't succeed.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that will want to block you. So you have to do your homework. So all these things that we put together, that we're going to, by 2006, we should go to the World Cup. We're going to start professional football. And we're not going to relent. I also want to sponsor and support people who want to build academy. So that was where we thought we had to start from. And before that meeting, as I said, there were those who have planned to come and scatter it at the British Council. But I went ahead, we went to, and at the end of it all, there was somebody, I don't want to mention his name, with his team who had come to scatter it. And Clenso, who they thought, they didn't know that he was so close to it. It was one of the guys that they wanted to use. So I had full knowledge about what was going to happen. So they wanted to block that. It was too early. Ghana, had to wait for a while. Why do we want to go professional? Do you know where they started from? I finished everything, give and take, Q&A, 99% support. And then the guy who brought the cameras back was Clenso when he got that. And that's why they should listen to what Yoma was. And that they were all older than me, but I brought this idea, we should have done it long ago. But I said, look, we're going professional. All clubs will have to register as corporate entities. Luckily for us, Ghana then, we also have institutions in the country which are at that level. And that henceforth, our Black Stars will no longer sleep in classrooms. Henceforth, when you register, your coaches must be on payroll. The players should be on payroll.
Okay.
And
now, did you introduce this bonus thing to the Black Star players at the time?
Yeah.
The bonus?
Yes, the bonus, because we have to discuss it. Those days, there were some games that were being played, and we were getting all the feedback. And so, once we know how much the bonus is, that is it. And it wasn't anything that anybody would be allowed to, joke with.
Okay.
And that we also have to train our coaches.
Yeah.
We have to train our coaches. I went and made arrangement with FIFA. They brought us top-class coaches, and then they trained them in Winneba. We went and built 24 apartments, air-conditioned in Winneba. And then we got a list of all our former players, the stars, as Agrifin and Osekufi and all those people. Mm-hmm. And FIFA gave us top-class coaches.
To train them. And at the time, all those former players, we decreed that we're going to give them roles,
ID cards and roles. Mm-hmm. And then the issue about the academies too came in. And then the selection of the under-17 was also an issue. It has to be made on merit. We should know which coaches we are sending out there, so that from the constituencies to the districts to the regions, give us at the end of a certain period 10 players. Before you come to Accra Sports Stadium to come and make the selections and
justify
your inclusion. Okay. And I also told them, one of the things which was working then against our progress was politicization of sports. I said, me, So you go and see there, and they will come and lie to you. This man is this, is that, is MPP. So I ask you, is he not a Ghanaian?
I get you.
You know, so we took that away, and that was how come we started doing well. And
okay,
we went and had let me conclude this last one. So all the things that I turned out at the British Council Hall, we ended up by saying that now that people think that it has to be done, we'll go and hold a 5 days seminar in Wudeba.
At the time, the specialist training college, at the time, wasn't the university yet?
No. We had built, we had, you know, there was a
specialist
sports
training.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we went and had the workshop. I invited people from UK, Nigeria, and other places who have been through it. And there were some media guys who were determined to scatter our program. And they didn't know that it's difficult to scatter my program. So I was also ready with people who protect what we were going to do. And so we went there and started the program, rolled it out. It was supported by everybody. But before we even go there, you know, you have the Ghana League Clubs Association. There are reps in Accra. There are reps based in Accra. Very troublesome. So before we started this, then I had the hint that some people were lobbying and making sure that they would make sure that it didn't happen. So I traveled throughout the country and met with the owners of the club, with my team, and explained to them what we were going to do and the benefits that they would derive from what we were talking about. So,
building a professional...
That's right.
Yeah.
And so I needed reps from them. But if you said the same people who have been kicking against what we're doing in Accra to represent it, you can let them come, but we needed two people from your level. And so a day before the conference, I was there with my people. All those who came, we welcomed them and explained to them what we were up to. So at the end of the day, it went so well. And some people have planned to get outsiders to just
infiltrate.
Yeah, infiltrate and then make sure that it didn't happen. So after we were finished, the Nigerian rep, I didn't know the problem that he had transport, somebody who wanted, one of the media guys who wanted to pollute him to come and talk against it. Came down with him. They were late. So when we were about to conclude and he came, so we'll give him the opportunity to say something. So the Nigerian guy was given the opportunity. Took him, just ran him through. He was so happy. And then that person who wanted to scatter the thing asked him, he said, we'll give him the opportunity because he thought whether he thinks that Ghana at that time was ready to go professional. Ghana was to go professional. And then, because some of them think that we are not ready. So when the Nigerian got up, he broke the camel's back. He said, Mr. Chairman, Minister, gentlemen, Ghana was ready 30 years ago. And that was how come we started.
Nice. Okay, so good one. We will take a short break, and then when we come back, we would like to know a little bit about how you sought to also develop the lesser known sports, and also, you know, what the policy direction was at the time. So this is still Footprint. We'll be right back.
This is Fact Finder from the BBC.
We live in a world where news travels fast. And sometimes, it's hard to differentiate fact from fiction. Fact Finder brings fact-checking from the newsroom up close so you can separate truth from chaff. Be empowered to tell what's fake from what's real. Watch Fact Finder by the BBC on City TV every Wednesday at 6 p.m. City TV. It's your world.
Welcome back to the program. This is Footprint. Today we are here with Honorable E.T Mensah, and he took us from his early days when he used to be a footballer for Aroras, which was the second team for Accra Hearts of Oak then. And is it the other ones were Tornadoes, the Hurricanes, right?
Hurricanes.
Hurricanes, yeah. This
third division player.
This is where you had you had Dumas boys.
That was interdepartmental.
Okay.
Was introduced.
Yeah, Dumas.
But when you talk about our club, it was the Tema club.
Yeah.
Like Asante Kotoko, like Hasford.
So that was the Hurricanes.
Yeah. Third division club.
Wow. I only knew Dumas. And then we also had Aquatex.
That was when we introduced interdepartmental.
Which is the corporates owning. So you had Aquatex, you had Dumas.
And they were playing their league before they were.
Wow. You had clubs like Stand Fast. And then Gihawk Stars.
Gihawk Stars, interdepartmental.
Wow. You had Neoplan Stars.
Neoplan Stars,
Gihawk Stars. Well, we should go back to
Lever Brothers.
Yeah.
Most of us who played for the Tema team used to play for Lever Brothers. They played so much.
Wow, interesting. So here we are now running sports in Ghana for many years. But most officials who take over the management of sports tend to lean towards football at the expense of the lesser known sports. How did you have that in place? What did you do to try and bring the others up? Well, it was just football.
No, at the time we brought up almost all the lesser known clubs.
The sports disciplines,
The sports disciplines, yes.
Really? So
it was during my
athletics?
time that athletics did a lot, and then when Prof also helped before he even became the president. We built the AstroTurf and all those things. Then tennis, lawn tennis also was, did so well.
Oh, the inter-school sports?
The inter-school sports also did well.
So when you we had a situation when was it 99 or 2000? We had to get rid of our coach, Dosena, Giuseppe Dosena.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that?
That man, was a coach, was not a team player. You have your FA. There's no way the coach will see himself as a bigger person than the FA. They have to work as a team.
Okay. He wasn't working with the FA?
Well, I mean, he wasn't somebody who listens to advice. Because before he came, when we had all these former players, Griffin and others who were all been trained as coaches, and it was decided that, they also observed something. So during any game, even when we used to travel out, there were people that we, poached to observe from the stands the game. So if there was anything that they found to be addressed, which would be useful, they will come through the leadership, the FA, then the coach will be spoken to, to look at that angle, either to effect a change or not to effect a change, you know. And there are people who even come to me. There was a time when people were complaining, everybody just left this guy alone. Several times he would come and beg me that, you know, I should come to anytime I went to the dressing room, things changed because of the information that I'd had from our own people. Give it to him, and then he goes ahead to take the decision. And so when it started, the morale came amongst them. I decided not to get involved. He came and begged me. Initially, he wasn't a team player.
So that's why we had to let him go at the time. But he led us to, is it quarterfinals or something?
And during that time, that was when he allowed
input
from you know, the other colleagues around.
Okay, so E.T, you also were a member of parliament, which we've spoken very little about, for Ningo Prampram. Is it four times?
20 years. 5 times.
5 times? Jeez. So you're a member of parliament? 5?
And a member of the Pan-African Parliament.
5 times?
Also for 5 years.
So tell me, so 5
and then
times?
IPU, another.
Let's take it one step at a time. 5 times member of, or we say a 5-time member of parliament for Ningo Prampram. That's a whole generation. So if somebody was born at the time you entered, by the time you exited, the person would be in university. It's a whole generation.
Yeah.
So all they knew was just E.T Mensah. What legacies do you think that you left there?
Enormous. When I decided not to go to Parliament when we started. I didn't go to Parliament in 1992.
Because you went straight into.
I didn't go to Parliament.
So you came in 97 after the 96.
At the time, the elders in Ningo Prampram, they came and lobbied me. I refused to. So this time around, they went through President Rawlings. And President Rawlings also said he needed me to be around. So we went back and forth. So he said, oh, Chen, yes, I want a few. So it was when he decided I should go, that was when. And when I went to Ningo Prampram constituency, there were only 2 buildings in which you find electricity. And this morning, there was a company this morning.
Yeah, doing the roads.
Yeah, not doing the roads, the brick and tile factory.
Oh, okay.
So they had their own plant. And then 3 blocks away from the place was a friend of his who was also a contractor who had tapped from this morning. Yeah. That was it.
So the whole constituency, no light?
No light. And at the time...
So you're talking about 93 or 96 when you became member of parliament?
96 when I became member
so
of
97,
parliament.
beginning 97, yeah.
And when you do not get the opportunity to be made a member of parliament, there's no way, in almost all the constituencies that I know of, you will not know the length and breadth of the constituency. And at the time that I went there, that was when electrification was based on self-help. And so when I got the letters, I needed to know the length and breadth of the constituencies that, because and when I went around, You're talking about 500 human settlements. When you're going to Prampram today, Belakwa, you see where Belakwa is?
Yeah.
That is where Prampram traditional area starts from.
Okay. So this after the Pong barrier, is that correct? Yeah.
Just at the Pong barrier.
Yeah.
And then when and Prampram doesn't just, stretch straight. When you drive on the N2 from the police military academy all the way to the
Afenya side,
Afenya and beyond, and Afenya and the animal,
Yeah. As you get close to the shy.
That's
area.
right. That's right. That was it. So all those places, and then the boundary between Ningo Prampram and Adan is at Sege. You see, when you cross that bridge.
Yeah.
And there was nothing. And there was
flat land.
Flat land. That was it. Nothing. And between Ningo, New Ningo, and Old Ningo, there's a bridge.
You couldn't walk through at the time.
You couldn't walk through at the time.
Yeah.
And there was no way you could even drive through. That was what I meant.
Okay.
And so when I looked at that, based on self-help, those people, there was no way.
So in 20 years, you brought you kind of influenced the introduction of electricity?
No, because what I saw there at that time, my going there even helped the whole system, because when in Greater Accra region, look at the size of Greater Accra region. And the Dangbe area covers the largest part, 3/4 of Greater Accra region. So when you move to Sege and those other places, they also had challenges because of the self-help.
Okay.
I don't had it because of self-help. And the reason, so when I went there, it benefited the whole area.
Yeah. So
even when the PNDC came, there was only Dangbe West and Dangbe East. So the Dangbe was from Adan
coming back
all the way through to cover Prampram. Was one district.
Oh, okay. All right. So, E.T, what I'm trying to establish is, okay, so now you're no more in active political governance.
I'm establishing some, let me finish, then you understand where I'm coming from. The benefit of my going there wasn't only for electricity in Ningo Prampram. But when I went there and then started going around, even though I heard from the place, once more time, once in a while we go to 1 week, then we're gone. When the place I go, we follow them. I didn't know the length and breadth of that, area. Until when Buzia came, and then he made my uncle chief executive of the Dangbe district. And the Dangbe district was all the way from Adan to Pong. One district. So what could he have done? And what could other people do in those days? So when I went down and then we went around the villages, I saw the number of villages and the poverty. Well, self-help, people have to contribute. Where are you going to get the money from? The poverty. So I came, but when finally President Rawlings agreed that I should go, he said, you chairman, when you caught your blame on me, just open your eyes and watch what is happening during that area, because it was his time that Shai Osudoku and Dangbe West and Dangbe East was created. Shai Osudoku and the whole Prampram area, Dangbe West at the time, before later it was divided. So figure out what was happening there. And then the whole of Ada, and Ada is so big. There was no way they would have had electricity. When I concluded, I'm talking about, you see where I'm coming from. So I told him that what I saw there, if we want to make strides in our electrification drive, we have to eliminate the self-help. But the poverty in the Tangbe area is as bad as the northeast sector and anywhere else.
Yeah.
The poverty there, when we thought that, because the north was covered from Kosovo because everybody knew that the place, poverty in the area, and President Rollins and others decided I had to do something from there. So they asked, so what do we do? So I said, sir, if we can support this thing from the Common Fund, it has just been introduced. For the Common Fund to cover all those areas, it will really, really, really help. They say, you. That was why I said you go. You go and then you see something, you come and tell me. So then it was decided that we should go. Things went, and then we started the involvement of the use of the Common Fund to cover. That was how come you go to every corner there now they have electricity.
Wow. Okay, so we'll take another break.
And then it led to even that was how we even were able to cover Ada. Ada was special project from the Japanese for electricity, and then we created more districts. When Prof came, I was the chairman of the committee. We created more districts. That's what led to the creation of now Shangsu, Ningo, Prampram, Sege, and other places also had. And because we decided on the Common Fund, it spread throughout the country. So other villages and towns
also
which otherwise were not benefited, also benefited.
Okay, we'll take a short break. Now, when we come back, we will be talking to Honorable E.T Mensah about his time in Parliament. 97 Parliament up until he left. What were some of the experience, the exciting moments, the difficult moments, the difficult decisions that they had to take, and how he also, I mean, as strong an NDC person as he's always known to be, he's also one that could work with the opposing side very well and smoothly. We'll be right back.
City TV is live. On DSTV, go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and Star Times box. City TV, it's your world.
Welcome back. This is Footprint with E.T Mensah. Honorable, so, you know, you went on, and then 2000 elections came and NDC lost. Did you think that NDC would lose the election at the time? 2000 election, year 2000.
Yeah, 2000.
The one that brought Kufuor into office. Did you see that coming?
It was I thought people felt they were tired of.
No, people actually did feel, but did you see it coming, or it was a surprise to you?
It wasn't a surprise. I mean, as for politics, anything can happen.
Well, with your experience, I know with hindsight you can say it.
Yeah.
But tell me, who are some of the people you met in Parliament that you have fond memories of?
Oh, quite a lot. The current president, for instance, E.T Mensah, E.T Mensah being Mensah as well. And so it was always fun of me teaching my young brother.
How do you see now sitting in the same room with E.T Mensah, who you knew when he was in politics when you were much younger?
Yeah, I was, I felt good because these were people that I wanted to learn from.
Yeah.
And in those days, anybody who stood up from, their level and from that time.
So what? Some of the E.T Mensah, you met C.O. Nyano.
I met C.O. Nyano.
But he was like a class prefect.
Yes, I met President Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And we all quite often the most exciting times were when you go to the tea corner.
Outside of the chamber.
Share, memories, and it was fun, and you learned from those who have been there before. These were people who have been there before we got there.
And Parliament was very serious.
Very serious. Parliament was very serious.
Can I say the same today?
What? Your guess. It's not good as everybody else.
Well, I think the issues have changed.
The issues have changed.
Yeah. So we contextualize the issues differently now.
Exactly.
Except for the blows, I think that they can do better. So you were working. So some of them, some of these guys who never actually came into Parliament, but very strong, voices in the NDC, like Dr. Toniedu.
Mm-hmm.
What was your own relationship with people like that?
Oh, very good. It was part of our, progressive group. So it was okay. We were good. All of us were friends. Whenever they had something to put across, they just informed us. Huh?
So you did that, and then you went back into opposition, but you were busy with Parliament.
Oh, yeah.
2004, up to 2001 Parliament, 2005 Parliament.
2001, when we lost, I was the minority whip.
Yeah.
Oh, and the opposition minority whip.
A very strong one, too.
Yeah.
And then Professor Mills came back.
Yeah.
And you changed portfolios. You became, is it employment minister?
Employment and social welfare, Western housing. I did something for him in education. And, about 5, 6,
So looking back many years in politics, writing your own story, what are some of your fondest memories? Things that you could relive if you had the chance?
Fortunately for me, the fond memories, the areas that I needed to do things, I was able to.
Like?
Like when, I was being a minister of employment and social welfare, Western housing, we were able to do quite a lot out there. Even, education, fisheries, when I went that place when I got there, the opportunity, I took advantage and made sure. Well, we had worked with, fishermen along the whole coastline, and we know at the time we knew their needs, and Prof was there anytime you hinted him.
So you are very content with what you've done, your contribution?
Oh, exactly.
Okay, so I remember many years ago, maybe sometime in the mid-90s, I visited your house when you used to live in Ridge. Is it Ridge? Somewhere in Ridge area sometime.
Ridge was when I was the sports minister.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had a library, a huge library of books.
Mm-hmm.
So what's this about books? Because you tend to be reading any and everything.
That is has been my passion and will continue to be. I love reading up to today.
Leftist books?
I read everything which matters. And mind you, I did theology too. I have a master's in theology.
Yeah. Now what to drive you into theology? You want to be a priest?
Oh, you don't have to.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, no, my background, I'm a fourth generation Methodist. It was my great-grandfather who sent Methodism to Prampram and the whole Dangbe area. And when he even took Methodism there, he asked my grandfather direct, was Mankradu, to abdicate and be the head teacher of the Methodist school and also a catechist. And my mom was all over the place. So I just
it was family business.
Mm-hmm. I just love
So that's why you went to the, was it a seminary? Was it a Methodist seminary or?
No, I mean, I did theology through to masters with the University of California.
Oh, okay.
You can do theology, you don't have to go to seminary. Okay. And when I when I finished the masters, that was when the Methodist Church ordained me as
a lay preacher or a real pastor.
Yeah.
So you are still a pastor of the Methodist Church?
I am.
A priest? Mm-hmm. You wear cassock? Honorable E.T Mensah, it's been a nice time spending today with you, and thank you for allowing us into your home.
You're welcome. Thank you for.
We are grateful. We are grateful. Yeah. It's been nice. So, like I said earlier, this book by Honorable E.T Mensah, just look for the book and then Setting the Record Straight it touches on everything. Education, transportation, health. Look, especially those of you who jump from radio station to radio station, talking things that you